you don't have time to take care of yourself. It's cliche, but you don't have time not to take care of yourself. And this is the easiest time to take care of yourself and your baby. It's a 2-for-1 deal. And our breath reveals so much to us about how we are and where we are. We're in survival mode. It's up here, right? And when we're calm or feel relaxed, we breathe from, our belly, from our baby space. And even if a woman's never had a baby, we all have a womb. When we are stressed or have a lot of things going on, the first thing is actually being aware of it. I think the hardest thing, if people say, and using that idea of space physically, oh, this is sore and that is sore and baby's on my bladder and all of this sort of thing, if we don't have space through movement, through conscious, intuitive movement, this can be quite limiting. So just giving oneself space in general is really important. If you're taking the time to listen to this podcast right now, some part of you says, I know this, I want this, I'm worth this. And so the beauty about breath is you don't need to do anything for it. It doesn't cost extra money. You don't need to make time. You don't need to look good. It doesn't need to sound right. Nothing. You always have it. You just get to recognize that it's there. Have that awareness that it needs you or you need it. Pause. Breathe.
So many takeaways here. You just walked us through so many grounding techniques to help us grounding ourselves back into ourselves, breathe back, to calm down the nervous system, to calm ourselves down, to get ourselves back into what's going on, to have better focus, of course. So this was amazing. Many of our listeners are women 40 plus. I do speak a lot of women that are going through perimenopause, menopause, but they're 40 plus. But either way, they're still juggling a lot because they have been through this period. So how can breathwork help women in survival mode?
When it comes to breath, though, I can sit here and talk about it, but probably the best thing is to actually show you.
If you can guarantee making your life a healthier reality, what would that be worth to you? Welcome to the Get Fit Ima podcast, your go-to spot for everything fun, fitness, and feeling good. I'm your host, Ilanit, your friendly guide, mom of 5, and a certified and dedicated fitness, nutrition, and health coach. We are Imas on a mission to create healthy on a time crunch, body, mind, and soul.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to Ima's on a Mission. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome, Malcha. Welcome to the podcast. For anyone new to you, can you share a little bit about NesheMama and the idea of breath, neshima, and soul, neshama, and what inspired you to build this work?
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for having me, Annie. I really appreciate it. So NesheMama was inspired actually a decade ago. When I was living in LA temporarily, someone told me that there was a significant difference between her older son and her younger son. And the difference between them, she truly believed, is when she was pregnant, she did Kundalini yoga. And she truly believed that the distinctive differences in patience, in temperament, in acute awareness of things and observation and kindness really was in contribution to the Kundalini yoga she did. So when I became pregnant, my daughter was born February 2024, and I thought about doing this type of yoga. So I looked it up, and I'd done Kundalini before, and I found something called Khalsa Way. And Khalsa Way is prenatal yoga that was created by a woman who, Gurumukh, she actually is one of the original creators of prenatal yoga. She became pregnant with her one and only child in 1980 when she was 43 years old. Wow. And yes, and she had a very easy, simple labor, birth. Her body, everything was wonderful. And she had created this type of adaptive yoga. So when I was pregnant and I was thinking, let me look this up. I found the book, Blissful, Bountiful, Beautiful. And I'll be honest, I didn't actually do much of the yoga when I was pregnant. Wow. Surprisingly, I actually ended up doing a lot of active birth yoga, but I felt this pull to this type of yoga to be more of a deliverer, a messenger, a bringer of this to our community here in Israel. Despite so many people getting pregnant and being in a country where people love babies, I couldn't actually seem to find a lot of resources. They're hard to find. So the NesheMama community, and where the name comes from, neshima, is breath. There's a lot of breath work in this type of yoga. as there is in labor and giving birth, and just being a mother in general. And mama, of course, is to represent that as a continued play on word. But a new observation of the title I just realized of the name is the sh sound, the neshima. If we think about the ocean and the waves, and just I'm a meditator, I do Vedic meditation, and it's all about this undulation of the waves, and we are all the same ocean, even if we're individual waves. And the sh part in NesheMama is the sound that we make when our babies are born. Naturally, instinctively, we make this sound, the sh sound. So
We do.
it's just, yeah,
And holding
it's
the baby.
beautiful. So the name means a lot. There's a little backstory about how I came.
Wow, I love all that. Okay, so
Yeah.
in the end of the summer, we had a retreat, a one-day wellness retreat, and you were such an important part of this whole retreat. And you literally drove back from vacation. You were in Ilanit, and you drove back with your whole family, and you rushed to make it back with us and to close up the event with Breathwork. And what you brought was so inspirational. You made, what made you say yes to this being part of this event, even though you were away on vacation and you still had to rush back and everything? What was it that was like, so like, I want to be part of this?
I'll be honest, I heard someone tell me once that selling is a transference of emotion, and Ilanit, your emotion, your excitement, your energy, your just givey goodness. It just felt something like I wanted to be a part of this sort of celebration of women and this opportunity to invite people into caring for themselves. And yeah, I think the breathwork part was really wonderful and very important as the transitionary ending workshop that we did. The timing worked out really well, zipping back across the country for the workshop.
And thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
So appreciated. And the women really appreciate it. They loved it. So you work closely, mostly with women that are pregnant, through birth, through postpartum. I mean, it's an incredible, vulnerable seasons of our lives as women. We're so vulnerable, and we're so in survival mode as women. So what's the biggest emotional or physical challenges that you see women going through during that time?
Look, I think the biggest thing is creating space. If there isn't any space for breathing, for expression, for whatever it is, if there isn't just an open space available, there's not going to be an opportunity to pause and explore that space and get curious about it. This is a space for a woman to pause and ask herself, what do I want in birth and labor? What type of mother do I want to be with my first, second, third child? How would I like my partner to show up in labor when I am experiencing contractions? So I think the hardest thing, if people say, and using that idea of space physically, oh, this is sore and that is sore and baby's on my bladder and all of this sort of thing, if we don't have space through movement, through conscious, intuitive movement, this can be quite limiting. So just giving oneself space in general is really important. You don't have time to take care of yourself. It's cliche, but you don't have time not to take care of yourself. And this is the easiest time to take care of yourself and your baby. It's a 2-for-1 deal. So this is the purpose of NesheMama, is the community aspect of it. Even if it's just something you receive and find it's not time, or you don't have the space to give back, it's this chance to give space, to have space, and be curious about what's created in this space. So yeah.
Love
space.
it. So space. You heard that, ladies. It's all about space. So now, many of our listeners are women 40 plus. I do speak a lot of women that are going through perimenopause, menopause, but they're 40 plus. But either way, they're still juggling a lot because they have been through this period. So how can breathwork help women in survival mode in this chapter of life, even if they're not pregnant anymore, or they, even if it's just a woman who's never even had a child? How is she able to, she's still a woman and she's still in survival mode. She's leading a business, or she's doing all kinds of things. How can we help these women slow down and breathe intentionally? That's what I was looking for. The word intentionally breath work, right?
The first part, intentional breath work. Yes. The first part, because we're always breathing, right? Thank God we're always breathing. And our breath reveals so much to us about how we are and where we are. We're in survival mode. It's up here, right? And when we're calm or feel relaxed, we breathe from, our belly, from our baby space. And even if a woman's never had a baby, we all have a womb. We all have a uterus. We all have this space that is a creation potential space. And that can be embodied within ourselves too. So when we are stressed or have a lot of things going on, the first thing is actually being aware of it. Even me, there's so many times having the learning I've learned, I go, oh, I know that. Why did I do that? Oh my gosh, why did I implement that thing? And I have other friends and other people who hold me accountable and remind me to breathe. So having that networking community is important. When it comes to breath, though, I can sit here and talk about it, but probably the best thing is to actually show you.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
if you want to join me, there's a little breath that I really like. This is alternating nostril breath. And you ideally 3 minutes, but even if you don't have 3 minutes, that's fine. Remember, the first part is awareness. The first part is my breath is really high or I feel stressed. And so if you don't have any time, then you can just always sort of like just pause and breathe in. My nose is a little stuffed right now, so you can breathe in as much as you can and just breathe out. You can picture it kind of like a wave coming in and coming out. But the alternating nostril breath is really lovely. Nice breath there. What we do is we close our right nostril with our right hand. We breathe out through our left nostril. Exhale. Then we breathe in. We switch nostrils, so we release the right one and close our left one. There you go. And then we exhale through the right nostril. And then we just do that again, breathing in through the right nostril. Hold that moment as we switch fingers and exhale through the left nostril. And breathing in again, switching and out. And then we'll finish one more time as we end on the left nostril, breathing in, switching fingers and breathing out through the left. So this is a wonderful, wonderful, you will physically feel different. Your body will have some very interesting sensations if this is something you decide to do. And it's created.
You feel the calm. You feel it.
It's bringing oxygen to our brain, to specifically to each hemisphere of the brain. And this technique is often known to help create a more lighter perspective, a more sunshinier perspective. And if you even want to take it up one more notch, we want to focus our attention to this point between the brow bones, between the eyebrows. Some people call it the third eye, but scientifically, this is where your pituitary gland is. The pituitary gland is your intuitive part of your brain. So as we do this breathing, we close our eyes and lightly lift our eyes right here. You'll feel a little cross-eyed. This will even more so help to activate and get the really good, juicy effects, the yummy, feel-good feeling that if we take that time and just breathe, certainly notice a difference, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Wow. So tell me something. What's the biggest misconception that women have about breathwork or yoga? Somebody who's never tried it, if they tried it now, I suggest you do. This is such a cute little exercise that it's short and sweet, and it really, I felt it in those 2 minutes. And it's like, wow, I really felt like the oxygen went to my brain, and I felt really, literally, physically different. And emotionally, the stress levels goes down. So you feel it. So what is the biggest misconception of women who've never tried it? And if you did try it, then I hope you all got something out of it. But what is that misconception?
I think the misconception is more about the expectation of how much time it takes to do. I was busy working Imas who have, families to take care of, perhaps careers, husbands to take care of, perhaps as well, family. I don't have the time to do that, but I'm sure each of us have recognized when we haven't made the time or protected time to do so, and then need to make up and compensate for that later. Right. So a common misconception around breath is I need to sit down in a perfect space. I need to be wearing ideal clothes. I need to this, I need to that, and I need to this. And bringing need to breath work already doesn't connect because need is a scarcity and breath is always, always there. You don't have to be wearing a certain thing. You don't have to be in a certain place. Your breath is something you can access at any time. So when it comes to something in the same realm that involves things like breathing and pausing, meditation, yoga, I hear mostly with meditation, people say, I can't do that. I can't meditate. I think too much. So like I said, sometimes we have too much going on and we're thinking too much. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions, is that thought is a hindrance to breathing, to yoga, to taking time for oneself, to meditating. But the meditation that I do, which is Vedic meditation, we believe there's two types of meditation. There's one where you kind of stop thinking and your thoughts just sort of disappear. There's just an open space. And two, where you're thinking lots and lots and lots of thoughts for the entire 20 minutes. And that is a perfect meditation because, yeah, believe it or not.
Wow, you're supposed to clear your mind, and you're like, what?
But the thing is, you're doing so many things. To pause and only do one thing, that's actually where the lesson is. So all of these thoughts come up and come up and come up, and you think this and you think that and you think this and you think that. But then you go right to the mantra that your teacher gives you, and then you think more thoughts. And it's actually like you're exfoliating and you're removing some things through thinking all of the thoughts. So anyway, the biggest misconception is I don't have time. I can't do it. It doesn't do right. I think too much. All of these things. These are all unfortunate limitations that happen that are, I think, just completely irrelevant. So through experience, you just try and.
Okay, so what I would suggest is that if we have women here that are listening and they only have 60 seconds in the middle of the day, whether you're, in the middle of school pickup or work or housework or errands or whatnot, that one breath practice, that is something that you can feel calmer instantly, unless you have something else to give over to us,
There's something even a lot easier. So the vagus nerve is something that runs throughout the entire body. And it's, I'm not going to go into it right now, but it is the central part of your nervous system. So if you're feeling frantic, frazzled, sad, manic, whatever it is that you're feeling, it's all okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But we want to use breath to actually help us with that. And this breath, you just do 10 of them. So you could do it in 60 seconds. You breathe in, loose jaw, tongue at the roof of your mouth. And as you breathe out, you're going to hum. You're going to feel your lips tingling. And you breathe in again. Lips closed. Exhale with a hum. What's happening inside of your mouth besides the tingling on your lips is the tongue is at the roof of the mouth and the jaw is loose. And this will help to regulate your body and your nervous system. So if you only have 60 seconds and you want to do something that sounds a little funny, if you're in a public space and don't want to, then just some great deep breaths, just giving yourself some extra oxygen. Right?
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you. Hello.
A lot of takeaway techniques.
So many takeaways here. I mean, can you, you just walked us through so many grounding techniques to help us grounding ourselves back into ourselves, breathe back, to calm down the nervous system, to calm ourselves down, to breathe better, to get ourselves back into what's going on, to have better focus, of course. So this was amazing. Go back and listen to those. If somebody, one of the things, obviously, during pregnancy, perimenopause, menopause, we all go through, as women, I think, through our hormonal, since we're 10 years old, we're hormonal. So throughout our hormonal stages, trying to unwind at night, especially as we have more responsibilities and shutting down our mind and trying to fall asleep and all of that. So if there's a breath pattern or movement that you can recommend before bed to have women tune down and use another type of exercise. I mean, I loved both of them and I will be using them, and I hope the listeners here could hear. And if you're watching on YouTube or a Spotify, then you could see what Malcha is teaching us. So yes, so what is one thing that we can help you, that you can recommend before bed?
Before bed, I would honestly say that if you give yourself, one of my favorites, it's an all-time pregnancy great also as well. So is you can just sit in your bed, actually, if you'd like to, with a cross-legged position. Place your hands on your knees And when you move inward towards the circle, so you're making a circle. We call this a Sufi swirl. It's going to help with your digestion, and you're going to use your breath when you come forward. You're breathing in as you stretch your collarbone out, and we're arching the back and coming back, just making some circles, pretending that your hips are the spoon, your hips are a bowl, and you're the spoon. You're stirring the bowl around, then reverse and go the other way, breathing in as we come up and exhaling out as we come back. This will help to unwind your spine as you lay down before bed and soften your hips and allow your breath to fall into a rhythmic pattern. It's very, very nice and soothing. So,
Wow. That's so nice. Thank you. I'm definitely going to be trying that because I'm in that period of perimenopause, and it's like sleep is, and I know, and it's something that I've always been like a night owl. I'm so busy during the day, running. So like nighttime when everything's quiet, the kids are finally asleep, the house is quiet. It's like, oh, I can now use my brain and I can now work and I can now focus. Of course, I'm going to stay up and take care of all that. But after reading and seeing all the studies of what it does to our brain in the long run, what it does to our bodies, what it does to us physically, health wise, it's not a good idea for me to stay up and try to focus. And so sleep has been something that I've been really, really trying to prioritize. And so I'm going to try that exercise to help me unwind and get to bed. I love it. I love it. I think that the breath work and all that you're doing, it's such a spiritual, there's something so spiritual about this and it's so special. So how do you see breath work connecting us back to Hashem, to our soul, and who we really are?
When Hashem created the universe, Hashem spoke. The only time that Hashem, I think, one of the very few times that Hashem actually spoke. Hashem said, "Let there be light." And there was. Why did Hashem need to speak? That's why. What does that teach us about breath and the importance of our words and how we are creators? And this is what breath is and does. I mean, just even thinking about those words, let there be light. That in itself, all the metaphors about light and inspiration and realizations and epiphanies and invention and creation. So I think breath is just such a overlooked thing that we just take for granted. It's just there. I mean, some people, they have to think to breathe. Most of us don't. And so like anything in life, when it's something that's just a regular routine thing, we just don't give it any attention or thought until we don't have it and we're struggling with it, coughing, perhaps when we're sick or something. So I haven't put too much thought into it, but I appreciate that question because what I just said there, that means something, at least to me.
And to me too. I always believe that I always say, like part of my job is to help women find their light and find their light through movement, find their light through like eating, the example I always use is God made it, eat it. Man made it, leave it, right? That's the example I use to like how to eat. Because we're confused today with all the food industry that trusts, the diet industry. But either way, the point is that I always say that listening inward to your inner light, you have a light. God put you in this world for a reason, and every single one of us has a light, and we find and discover that light through different things. And so I love that you're finding the light through the breath and through the fact that he said to let there be light. And I also find that like through breath work, like you said, man in creation, that's how he created man. He breathed into them.
Adam, he breathed life
into Adam and Eve, right? He breathed into them and they became human. So it's like through breath work. Wow. That's how we came into existence through breath work.
Yeah, when you ask that question, the first thing I thought about is babies and how they're breathing. And actually, this is why if a baby is born underwater, you don't have to worry about it not breathing or drowning as we do, because the baby can breathe. It has been breathing. Its lungs have been working while breathing liquid and fluid. But as soon as the lungs and the baby breathes in oxygen, everything like switches. Gosh, what Hashem created with how like it's
so miraculous,
amazing.
So beautiful.
It's so Like if you just think about it. So anyway, when a baby's born and you wait to hear that scream or that cry or that something, to acknowledge that first breath and what that means, it's just, it's really something special and precious.
This is all special. I love all this, like listening inward. And this is why breath work, it's literally the doorway back to ourselves.
There you go.
There you go, right?
Absolutely.
So for women listening, women that feel tired, and I'm sure a lot of the women that are listening, they feel tired, they feel overwhelmed, they feel stuck, so much going on, so many moving parts into our lives. What's one message of hope you want to leave her with? Like, you can breathe, you know? Like, how can we give her that hope of like, try these?
You just have everything that you need. And the thing is just knowing that you're worth it. I'm sure the people you're giving to, they're getting, receiving from you because they're worth it in some way, or you wouldn't give your time or your energy to them. I remember someone saying once, all I give to myself. And that can be looked at in both ways, but recognizing that all of these things going on. Here's a great metaphor, actually. What I realized a long time ago, it doesn't necessarily have to do with breath, but it does relate to giving to yourself. You have a well of water. This well of water receives water only in two ways. One, that you put water in, or someone else puts water in. You're born with a certain amount of water, you put water in, or someone else puts water in. You own a bucket. This is your bucket. Everyone else who comes to your well owns a cup. They always have a cup. You always have a bucket. So when you give to someone, you're giving them a bucket. There's no size change. It's always a bucket. When someone gives to you, as they do, I'm sure, they wouldn't be in your life if it was a one-sided relationship. They're giving you a cup, right? 3 of their cups equal 1 of your buckets. So you need 3 people to give to you in order to get 1 bucket. But you can give to yourself, and you can give yourself a bucket.
A whole bucket. Not a
whole bucket.
A whole bucket.
You only own a bucket. You can't give yourself a cup because you only own a bucket.
So the thing is, you hear this?
A whole bucket. So so that's the thing is when we pause and we recognize you're worth it. Like if you're taking the time to listen to this podcast right now, some part of you says, I know this, I want this, I'm worth this. And so the beauty about breath is you don't need to do anything for it. It doesn't cost extra money. You don't need to make time. You don't need to look good. It doesn't need to sound right. Nothing. You always have it. You just get to recognize that it's there. Have that awareness that it needs you or you need it. Pause. Breathe. And then you can go keep on doing whatever you were doing with more breath now.
Yes. And more clarity to your day. Much more focus. So where can our listeners connect with you, join your classes, or follow your work? And what offerings do you have coming up? Whatever you have coming up, they would love to connect with you. Where can they find you? Where can they follow you? I will be linking all of it in the show notes.
Wonderful. Yeah. So my Instagram is NesheMama, and that's the best way to get a hold of me. If you'd like to send me an email, if that's more your preference, that's okay. Malcha Dadush, Malcha Dadush. It'll be in the links. Also, what we have upcoming in the spring, we're going to have some more Radiant Mama workshops. We're going to have some prenatal workshops and some postpartum workshops that will include yoga, delicious, nourishing homemade meal, connecting with other mamas, some kind of therapy, crystal therapy, art therapy, music therapy, and then some sort of actual physiological learning, pelvic floor specialists, something involving our physical, prenatal, postpartum health, midwives, that sort of thing. So they're wonderful workshops. The core of what we do at NesheMama is the Calls the Way yoga. Calls the Way yoga is something, I'll be doing online classes if you reach out to me and ask me about them the next couple of months, because we'll be temporarily relocating to Korea, our family, for my husband's work. And also, actually, we have 2 classes. If you're listening to this right now, we'll have 2 classes in Ramadan the next 2 Sundays. So there's the last one's in person until February, at least in Israel. If you're listening and you're in Korea, then let's go meet up in South Korea and we'll do a class together in a studio. So
So if you're in
Yeah,
South Korea, reach out because Malka's moving to South Korea, just relocating for a little bit. And then if not, then in Israel for the next 2 weeks.
Oh,
And also, oh wait, and there's going to
wait, we
be
have
more
one more thing.
online. So
There's
whoever
a
wants to reach out to her
so
online.
feet beads. If you're perimenopausal, especially, this is something super attractive. Feet beads is an all women's free movement dance experience. I just play some music, dim the lights, and you go on a musical journey. You do not have to have any experience dancing. If you just like moving your body, come move with us, come breathe. It's Motzi Shabbos, this upcoming Motzi Shabbos. So that means that's the 23rd, I believe. 23rd. And
22nd of November.
Excuse me, 22nd. Thank you so much. So that'll be the 22nd, and it's going to be wonderful. It's a great experience. It's only once a month. It's all women. So come dance with us.
Oh, I hope I can make it to that one because I've been really, really wanting to make it to one of your dancing. And oh my God, I love it. There's so much. So this whole best episode, you gave so much of yourself, of your offerings and everything. So whoever wants to reach out, please look at what's going on. Follow her on Instagram so that you know when there's a new offering going on. And if not, then if you want to work with her one-on-one, just reach out to her on by email, and everything will be linked down. So I love the circles and everything that you host, and I can't wait to hopefully try one of these. It's been hectic for me on my end with my son in the army. So when he comes in, it happens to be that he comes in and I have like that, okay, I have to pack him up and get him ready and all of it and send him off. And it's around that time. But I really hope that maybe this Saturday night I'll be able to. Wow. So I love it. I love that you shared with us everything to do with breath work, and that it's so simple. We have it in us, and that you are worth it, and you are worth trying all of this. And thank you so much. It was great. It was great meeting you, and it was great, collaborating with you in the retreat, and hopefully we will have many more coming up in the near future. I wish you the best of luck in your move and your relocation, and the fact that we're online, so we're able to reach out to each other and maybe do more things. I am planning something on online wellness retreat. So it would be lovely to have you with us.
For sure.
To have women.
I've been planning on expanding it beyond just prenatal, postpartum, and doing something called womb yoga, since all of us women, as I mentioned earlier, have a womb. So that would be great. No age limitation or requirements.
Exactly, which is the best. No age limitation, just us connecting and breathing together and finding ourselves and being centered again. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for everything. And it was great having you. And welcome again, everybody, to, Malcha's World and to Ima's on a Mission. Thank you for joining us for this incredible episode. I will be seeing you soon. All the best.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Get Fit Ima podcast. If you loved what you heard today, it would mean the world to me if you took a moment to rate, review, and share this podcast with someone that you think would benefit too. Sharing this podcast is the best way to help it grow and create a powerful community to join you in your fit momentum journey.